Hello guys, my name is Nine and welcome back to another video. Before we get any further, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider dropping a like and subscribing as it greatly helps absolutely everything that I'm doing here. And obviously at this point you're going to want to know the cost and the upkeep of the base. So 77k stone, 89k metal frags, and about 500 high qual. Be aware that obviously I've spammed a crazy amount of garage doors and used a ton of high qual for end game upgrades. Looking at the upkeep, we're looking at a reasonable 18k stone, 19k metal, and 122 high qual. Same thing, be aware that I did spam a lot of that kind of stuff to increase that price. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, either please leave a comment in the description below or join my Discord link in the description and I can help you with anything that you have there. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into a tour. Alrighty guys, so today we are building a little bit of a throwback of a base. If you guys kind of see from the outside, if you're not familiar with the older Virus design, is actually a very similar footprint. And you'll see more of that when we actually go inside the base, and if you didn't see already in the little cinematic we've done, but it's very similar. However, it's got an entirely different spin on it to just make it an even stronger and more usable version, I think. Also, easier to build in my opinion, okay? So starting at any one of our three externals, we have our external TC. This only upkeeps our wide gaps. So there's three of these, 1.2k on both of these, extraordinarily cheap. Okay, and obviously disconnectable TC, if you don't know how to do this by now, grab a twig roof tile and place it like so. Just like that, and then replacing in whatever grade you'd like to. And obviously we're using sheet metal here, but there we go. Okay, entering in through any one of our gatehouses, obviously we're going through this one. You can see we have some basic peaks in the compound. It's obviously just a simple window, it's more of a deterrent. It's not really here for much other use. And then above these guys, we have our auto turrets. You'll see that we have an auto turret on every single side. So there's 6 auto turrets in compound. 3 will effectively do the entire thing, or hold the entire perimeter, should I say. However, 6 is if you got the extras, why the heck not? Obviously, as you can see up here, we have a beautiful wide gap shooting floor at the top. You can tell that the angles are pretty. Okay. Coming over to, actually we'll go over to this side. We'll go to the right side here. So following through the base, off a little part of the base here, this is a little extension here. This is just to give good turret angles and also just give us a nice little bedroom in our compound. So you can fit more storage in here. I just made it very simple. Jumping over to here, you'll see that any one of these will be our entrances to base. Almost forgot to mention, I know I don't have the large furnaces placed right here, but if you'd like to place them, right here is a beautiful spot. I'm just not doing it because it crowds the compound a little bit. But obviously jumping up to here, you can obviously put boxes, furnaces, or whatever you need to jump up to here, or just a ladder depending on the height. You jump up to here where you'll see our bunkers. Now this base is meant to be extremely expensive to raid, so the bunkers are going to be a little weirder. It's not going to be the best starting unit. However, with the new box system of them adding more storage to the boxes, you don't need as big of a starter unit as you did before. So it's actually really efficient as... It's just so efficient. We'll be fine. So obviously bunker right here. We got furnaces here. A little bit of drop box storage above right here to open the bunker. Or should I say, let's close the bunker first. We sheet metal this tile like this. So we place it in here. Like that. This is the bunker closed. Now grabbing a twig roof tile and placing it like such. That bunker opens. Okay. Going down to our bunker, which is also our starter unit, you'll see that we have just a super simple 2x1 starter. Nothing crazy. Here's our upkeep. You're going to get about 18 hours on TC if you're upgrading efficiently. That's a rough number, so don't quote me on it fully, but as you can tell, it's pretty efficient. And also this high gold cost is a little higher as I did spam a lot of end game upgrades, as you can kind of see throughout here. Okay, and then obviously it's enough for, you can obviously fit 2 to 3 bags. You can fit another bag in the airlock right here. And tier 3 down here, you can obviously throw a tier 2 down here and just have more furnaces. It's all personal preference. More furnaces throughout this area if you want, however, I just haven't plugged up this space. And one thing I will mention is our other bunkers are also 2x1 units just like this. But something to note is this entire inner spot, as you can tell down here, other than what I will have my test generator in here, this entire like inner triangle that I'm flying through right now, other than the TC compartment, is not being used. It's just all honeycomb. And the reason we did this is just to make it so the in-between sections of the bunkers are super expensive. And that's just, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could use the old starter for this base if you wanted to. However, this new one, just like, it's so expensive for each lit room, like it's beautiful. So as you can tell here, this is where our loot is. So up under the open core loot rooms on every side. As you can tell, they're not really splashable. So what I've actually done here, by using our open core, as you can tell, this is the old open core from the virus bases, and if you're familiar with it, the loot is under these ramps. They can't soft side into this spot, so it makes everything just so more expensive. And I will go ahead and show you a different one of the bunkers. And instead of using single doors, I just use garage doors. And it's a bunker that can just be sheet metal with a door path, and it gets expensive down here. So it's beautiful, man. Okay, one last thing to touch on, obviously, open core loot rooms, tons of storage, easy for your group. You got your ramp peak turrets that look literally right onto this open core. They can't loot it without getting shot, and these things are monsters if you know before. I also forgot to mention that I am using the non-perfected socket stack bunker method here. As you can see, this foundation is not able to be placed. And the reason I'm doing that is it's actually, in my opinion, a little easier to do all this. I had troubles when doing the other version of it that I just don't want you guys to encounter. I think this is a much more streamlined and easier process. If you are experienced in the matter, obviously use the other version. Going up through any one of our jump ups here, we have a bedroom to the right, little bedroom module to the left, using the door space as such, and a little peek into open core. And this is obviously just a little like last stitch effort kind of peek. And then obviously vending machine, or not vending machine, a locker in the honeycomb. Going up to our inner peak floor, we shall call it. Obviously just beds, lockers, and our batteries in these little rooms right here. Perfect. And obviously use HQM windows if you have them. And again, you do see that you have our peaks into our core. Okay, we're gonna go out into our shooting floor now. So we have a turret that instantly holds the entire thing. 3 turrets holds this entire shooting floor, as you can tell here. Above these guys, we have roof peaks. Just super simple jump up door peaks onto any side, and it's a full 360, so we're good. And then we have a mix of just wide gaps and just crouch peaks. Just really good for the current meta that we're standing in. Good, you can close these angles off. If you'd like to, you can also ramp this section like so. However, personally, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just personal preference at this point, so it's up to you. And then obviously by using the honeycomb as standalone points, we get some very nice angles and compounds. I personally like this angle right here as just a nice grenade shoot. If there's someone below here and you know it, you can just drop a grenade in this wall. It's just beautiful that way. Going back up to our jump up, we're going to go to the roof. Up on roof, you will see we have console-friendly vending machine bunkers, so making sure you're in twig. If you'd like to open these guys, simply come behind or on the other side and place twig like so. You'll see that places on every side because I have symmetry on, and these guys are open. So obviously, loot the vending machine. I want to do 1 because it's easier. You can obviously do 2 if you're the more experienced and know how. And breaking this, you'll see that we're all good. Okay. And then one thing that's, apologies for not having them placed, but sometimes they lag back on me. Turrets will go here. Apologies about that, guys. Turrets on any one of those, they just go under these little hoops, and they're a little harder to deter. You just put here, and you're good. They're just super simple. You can obviously put them in other spots, but this is just my simplistic answer to it. As you can tell, these left-sided ones are a little better because of where I have the bunkers currently. So that is about it. And last thing to touch on is obviously 3 windmills. If you'd like to place more, the best option for those would be build off of this spot right here. Apologies for the noise. Building straight up off of here, and it's another good spot. Okay, so that about does it for the tour, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, either join my Discord and ask me there, or leave a comment. I respond to almost every comment that there is. Sometimes YouTube doesn't let me know that it happened, but if it comes through, I'm going to respond. I can help you with anything you guys need. Please, I'm here to help. Yes, let's get into the actual build of the base. Alright guys, obviously before we actually build the base, some of you like to see the footprint and know what you're working with. So, starting here, this is where our TC is. Obviously, as you can tell, it is from any direction, at least 2 walls to TC. So 1, 2, technically a 3, 1, 2, technically a window. It's pretty good. Obviously, this is our 2x1 starter right here, kind of in this little pattern that I'm highlighting here. And then these are the bunker modules like such, these little 2x1 sections. Obviously, the rest is just honeycombing, our bunker openings, and our wide gaps with our masonry disconnectables and our little compound extensions to give us a more defendable compound. So with all that being said, let's actually get down to building the base. So toggling off symmetry for as long as I can. We'll use symmetry later in the base, but I'll go slow in those portions. So to start, all we're going to start with is a simple 2x1 starter. So just like so, we will start with our simple 2x1 starter. And apologies, we will be using a little bit of build grade just to speed up the process. This is the footprint we're going to want to use, and we will grab just for now a TC and a single door. One side can be your exit, while everything else gets walled in, including this triangle, to create our little area here. And if you place this TC like such, you're actually able to fit a furnace. And sometimes the placement isn't perfect, and you can't get the furnace in, but there, perfect. Before you place this window though, I do suggest upgrading this foundation. So just before you get too late in the wipe, make sure you upgrade this foundation. And we'll show you other ways to do that in a minute. So continuing here, I just make a little shelf, a little double door area to create a secondary airlock, like such. Boom, boom, and then an airlock like so. Obviously fill this area with whatever you can. Usually I just take off this double door as early as possible and add a garage door. And I will throw in my tier 2, my sleeping bag, saying you get the point, all the goodies that we need to actually have a successful wipe. And with the new box system being a little bigger, we are actually able to get way more storage in this thing. You don't need as many boxes. It just does it all. And obviously you can put a mixture of large boxes and small boxes. However, for now, we're keeping it simple. 4 large boxes, spam more smalls if you have the will to do it. And pretty simply, we're gonna go build the bunker off of this thing. So to build the bunker, we are simply gonna be placing a triangle out from the door like so, and walling this guy in with a frame above us. Perfect. Now switching over to twig, we're going to be doing our 9 to the right triangle build out. If this confused you before, we'll show it again here. So coming out here, we do triangle, break the triangle, square. Now we have a square. One more triangle, break the square. Okay, now we're doing 9 right side triangles. I'll show you what I mean by this. This is 1, this is 2, and we'll keep going. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Placing our square like so, and now breaking every single triangle that we place. Make sure to do this. If you forget to break these triangles, your bunker could much easily break. Apologies for this little bug here. We'll fix that guy up. Okay, coming over to here, and coming back with squares until we're all the way at the base. To ensure that this bunker is, in this method, working, we will be simply attempting to place a triangle here. If it is red, you did it right. Simply all you need to know for now. Now building up the bunker, I want to test that the bunker actually works. So placing 2 half walls, like so. Make sure these are half walls. And I'm just going to place a little twig temporary jump up to walk up here. And then off of this half wall, we need to place a triangle. So I'm going to show you what it looks like right and wrong here, because I know some people had some questions last time we made a base like this. So a triangle off of here, and then back to here. You're going to get one that is 28% stability. As you can see on my top of my screen there, 28% stable. That means the bunker is going to work. So here, boom. That means if this works like this, and you can place this roof tile, and this breaks, you're in business. However, if it's not working and you're having issues, it's most likely because you placed a triangle wrong, like so. 61% stable. What that means is you placed it on the wrong socket. You need to make this one. You gotta wiggle it a little bit here. So I place this triangle to make it easy, and then kind of slowly back up my cursor after doing so, and it will snap in, like so. And then boom, 28% stable. This guy works. This is my bunker working. And now obviously some people had questions about this being soft side and kind of being a weakness to the base. Upgrade this to whatever grade you can as early as possible. If you can get this to sheet metal early, it's gonna be super beneficial. And then obviously half wall on these guys, and I'm gonna be placing my furnace here as a jump up for now, just being a temporary solution. 2 full walls here. Apologies for not being in build grade. Too high. And framing this guy off like so. Then coming down to here. This will be one of our exits. We're actually going to have 2 exits from base currently. And what's beautiful about this starter unit of this base is it can be super modular. So what we're actually going to do here is we're going to honeycomb parts of the base. So off that square and off this square right here. We're just going to honeycomb the base. And then off of here we will honeycomb this section as well. So at this point, it just looks like a 2x1 starter. So it's really inconspicuous this way. And what I do suggest doing though, is at least sheet metaling this entire section like so. And at this point, if you have the resources, I really do suggest just straight up armoring this. If you don't have a need for tier 3 yet, armor this section and then come back inside here and get this window frame down if you haven't already, okay? Just making sure this can be actually strong and defendable. And then I like sheet metaling this section, but what's really nice about this base is almost every side except for where TC is right now, because it'll be more efficient there, but for now it's a little bit of a weakness. It's good. And obviously over here, honeycomb from this side, honeycomb from this side. So this is beautiful. This is just what we want. So coming up to here, let's make our little jump up. And then this wall can be rotated how I have it like such right now, but we're gonna want to rotate the other way eventually, but that shouldn't matter yet. So when we do make the open core loot room though, we're going to actually upgrade this and rotate it, but for now, it's perfectly fine how it is. Okay. Coming over to this guy, I like to place a frame in here. And then I like to continue this guy like so. And then this is practically perfect. This you can now door up. This is basically like, if you can get this day 1 as a solo, this is like kind of amazing because it just opens up the door for so many opportunities. And then what I would actually suggest doing is expanding this one level higher. So you can have little door paths everywhere to make sure every exit out of base is kind of door pathed a little bit, like so. So at this point, every exit is just beautifully door pathed. So if we can look at this, this is what our 2x1 starter unit for this base truly is. But now, obviously, we gotta expand this into a full main base. So, honeycombing off this section once more, like so, making it a full triangle. And coming down and starting to make our other bunker modules. And we're gonna just keep going along with this footprint. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So this is what this guy will look like. Obviously, you can do one bunker at a time or both at the same time. It's all depending on what resources you have. But we're going to be doing our same build up for this guy. But first, I'm going to be honeycombing this guy in and setting it up as such. Make sure this honeycombing right here is in here. It's very important. And these in-between triangle sections, like where this one is. Okay. And then obviously these are double doors in my POV, but if you don't want them to be double doors, they don't have to be. So that's all personal preference. I'm not gonna force you guys to do any of that. Frames in these spots, and then capping the entire guy off. You're now met with this. So to any random person, if you just have doors in these sections like this, people will be very confused, which is beautiful for you because they think there's 3 entrances into this base, when in reality, this is your starter unit, and these are just going to be extra bunkers later in the wipe. So these are kind of just being used as temporary space. Obviously, a good habit to get into for these guys is if you can just put 2 double doors in here, put like 2 beds and some lockers in here for early game, that'd be amazing. Just obviously upping that defense and giving yourself more chances. So obviously now we are going to be making our bunkers again. So I'm going to kind of speed do these. 9 triangles to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Square. Breaking this entire jump back. And obviously I'm speed doing this because we did it once before. And coming back. And just breaking as I go because it doesn't really matter. And then up, down. Oh, apologies. Switching to build grade now because it doesn't matter. Okay. And obviously I have confidence. I know I built this right, so we're okay. Placing your triangle like so. 28% stable, perfect. Ensure that the bunker works real quick. Perfect, awesome. Always good to ensure that bunker works. I do suggest when you guys are building this base to not actually build while the bunker is open. Make sure they're closed. I've heard that there are bugs that happen when you leave the bunkers open. So be safe on that. Like if you're like building the entirety of your base, you don't need the bunker open. Like there's no point. Also, if you forget to put this jump up in right here, just come to this loot room like this. And you can place it through the wall. I know that happens. I've done it before. And this one doesn't matter as much. You can keep it rotate like so, because it'll be like that eventually. Okay, next portion. Just keep going along, chugging along, getting ourselves with the bunkers going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And okay. And we are back. Obviously can't place this, we're good. Raise, sheet metal. Apologies. I've been doing this in Twig. Apologies guys, brain's not with me today. And obviously I kind of know what I'm doing, so we're good. 2 half walls. Can make that jump. 28% stable. Test place the roof. We're good. Come over to this guy. And it's easier to place on this side, but I'll fly to do it just to show it works. Just because we're trying to get little things done speedy. Like that. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, cool. Okay, next portion to do is to build up to what our open core will be, but first I'm going to show a little bit of an upgrading scheme that I usually like to do. I would like to sheet metal this entire top section, like so. And then what I'd like to do is toggle symmetry on here in a second once we build these overhead spots, because I forgot about them. Add these double doors, and then we're going to toggle symmetry on here, and I'm going to show you where to add honeycomb. So off of these bunker modules, where it's these 3 triangles, like so, you actually want honeycomb on these guys like so. So there and there, okay? And then this will obviously be built up to the shooting floor level, but for now, it's fine just as one level while we're building up the entire core. So obviously now we're gonna keep going, chugging along. If you guys have the resources, this is gonna be the column we will sheet metal later, but for now, doing it in stone is perfectly fine. And then building this guy up, we're gonna be sheet metaling these tiles and rotating them all to the inner side. And then obviously this one's rotated the wrong way, but it's okay. We'll just leave that like that for now, because I'm just gonna rotate it. Okay. Apologies about the little sanctuary bugs. Half wall. This doesn't need to be sheet metal, it can just be like that. I like honeycombing in the middle like this, these triangles. And here, obviously now, you can see from every side that there's these open core rooms built up. So every side on the right, this is what it looks like. Just think of it as 3 different sections you gotta do. And that will make it the easiest. Continuing with this guy. Perfect. Capping the guy off. On everything. Perfect. Lowered ramp placed like such. You can place a triangle through the floor like this. And like this. Perfect. Obviously, window these guys off if you can, just to make sure it can't be used against you. We're going to move that, fly up to here just to make it easy. Now we're going to cap off this little piece of honeycomb. It doesn't need to be filled in here. This doesn't actually matter, so I wouldn't worry too much. This will become a locker space. Obviously, you don't have to do this. This is personal preference. This is just a beautiful spot for a locker, in my opinion. Going in here. Turning this into a bedroom, like here. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a bedroom. Make sure these are perfect. Make sure these are higher stability, by the way. Make sure you place these on the higher stability side. Jumping up to the next level, capping this guy off. Sheet metal in this section. I would like to sheet metal this guy in like this. Like so. And then double door frame. This will turn into a battery area. If you can sheet metal this, the second you have your batteries down, I usually wait to sheet metal until I have a battery down just to not waste resources. But once I do, I will sheet metal at least this back wall. This wall isn't as much of a worry, but just that one wall is very important. Jumping up to the next. I like to put a window so I have a little peek into my shooting floor. I'll wall this guy off not to show where the battery location is. And flying up and doing the roof. I like the roof out of sheet. Personal preference at this point on the wipe, whatever resources you have, you use. Pretty simple. Okay. Going up one more level, we'll get to our roof. I'll glass window this guy off and add our double door. Perfect. As you can tell, we built up very quickly. So yeah, very, very nice. At this point, coming over here, let's get this honeycomb to 3 levels. Just to be, you know, efficient and look a little better in reality. Coming over to these guys, we build these guys up one more level, and we start on our shooting floor in just a second. But first, we add our little turret pod, is what I'd like to call it. This can also be used as a little bit of an early game shooting floor. It's just door peaks, but like if you really need to turn this into a shooting floor, there's actually ways to make this entire thing into an early game shooting floor. You can actually make the entire thing door peaks if you want to. Obviously, beautiful spot for a turret. I like to add my embrasures here so you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're going with. If you guys have the resources at this point, like I said before, this is the most efficient upgrade you can do on the base. This honeycomb is like the best thing to upgrade right here. And obviously I'll show you a different angle of this guy, and then come up to here. Okay, next thing we're gonna make is our little compound extension on every side. This isn't technically needed right away, but I'm gonna make it just to show you where it goes. You simply build out squares like such, and like such. And that's gonna be where our turret pods are. To keep these connected and make sure they don't decay, we're gonna be, personally I like to sheet metal at least a few of these foundations. I don't even know what happened there, I'm gonna be honest. Like so. And then I will wall this guy in. This is obviously just the corner pieces of our compound, so doing it however you want and at whatever rate you want is fine. It doesn't have to be sheet metal right away. But I do suggest upgrading this foundation at this point to sheet metal and this one to high wall, just to make sure it's hard to soft side. Now coming over to here, let's sheet metal this connection right here, because without these frames like such, everything being like this, it will decay. Obviously, if you didn't have windows or doors on these guys, make sure you get them. Very nice. Okay, now time for our wide gapped externals. Remember, these things are really cheap, and it's just good to build up almost the entire base before this. So apologies for placing this in sheet metal, should be twig. Square triangle, 3 squares out. I believe actually 4 rather, apologies. My mind is with me today. And we come back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Square. Oh. Apologies again. Sorry. No final square. Or triangle. No 5th triangle. It's a square. Before going with 2 triangles. 1 each side. Then 1 more. And then square. Triangle, triangle. Breaking the connections back. Square, triangle, triangle, and I'll show you what this looks like. So that is what our wide gap will technically look like at the end. So if you can make that look pretty simple. And then to do our little gatehouse, we're simply going to go like this. That'll be our gatehouse. So I'll start building this guy now. So stone. I usually build from this section, and I don't upgrade any of this twig yet, as it's not needed. This will decay, by the way, if you don't have the little twig placeholders that were here before. So just so you guys are aware. But I'll usually make my gatehouse first, which just consists of either, sorry, it's not single door, double door, and then coming up top, making my little turret pod up here, and then my disconnectable OTC. Bring this to wood. So we're gonna want sheet metal. And obviously I'm building in a little weird fashion just to be a little more efficient, so I'm not switching back and forth. And apologies for the lag, my internet is happening right now. There's no amazing way to fix that. And then 2 garage doors is the just simple way to do it, but obviously 2 garage doors and double door is the effective 8 rocket, I'd say. Sheet metal connection back. I suggest sheet metal in this guy and this guy to be efficient, and that's all you really need. No one's really gonna break all your stuff, and that is your disconnectable. Obviously embrasuring this bad boy up. Obviously I like my glass windows, but we're all down to personal preference here, along with our turrets that will go here, right, and here. And then obviously to place our compound, obviously please practice a compound beforehand. Don't don't follow the exact thing, because terrain will always mess with these. So just line up the far left of here with the far right and make it look where it's, yeah, that looks like it's about gonna fit. You're not gonna mess up too much no matter. It's like here, my first instinct, I got it pretty close. But now doing that again, if I curve it in just a little bit to the right and retry, it's basically perfect. So do a little bit of practice if you guys can beforehand with a compound placement. Obviously I'm flying, so it makes the angle a little different, but same kind of concept, and that's pretty darn good. I'll take that for a first try. And now it is time for the actual turrets and such, or not the turrets, but the actual shooting floor. So coming over here, this is the personal way I upgrade my shooting floor foundations. I just sheet metal all these guys except for making these 2 stone because it doesn't really matter. And then I like to upgrade my shooting floor like such. So sheet metal, these guys. Okay. Too high on these guys for sheet metal. For switching to stone, I'd go half wall like this. Apologies, I was meant to go 3 high. Boom. As you can tell, it's a very basic shooting floor, but the angles on it are just efficient enough to where it's just kind of nice. Obviously adding my embrasures. I like just half walls up here. They don't need window peaks or nothing. Gives it a unique look too, I think. And that is voila, pretty much done. Obviously when I build my bases, I tend to just build the entire base before doing any of the deployables, except for the necessities. As you can tell here, shooting floor very nice. I'll show you guys how to do the metal barricades. Apologies for doing these out of stone, these should be wood. Coming over and placing this guy like this, and this guy like such. Breaking your twig now from any side, you're good. And we'll do that one more time for these guys. And we are pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, next part's pretty simple. Roof tiles. All we're gonna do, I'll show you how to place them when not flying. I should do. Make this a twig little piece. It could be a wall or whatever. I like to jump up on this twig and when actually playing a wipe and placing my roof tile like so. It makes it way easier. Coming down here, these tiles can be annoying to place sometimes where they just kind of jump back and forth. So what I suggest doing is coming down into the square and placing it through the wall if you're on PC. I believe it works the same concept on console, but PC is obviously what I'm testing and all that. Coming up to this guy here, obviously place those pretty darn easily. And then coming over to these guys, like so. And as you can tell, that was pretty dead simple to the point. Also, just so you guys know, this foundation technically isn't needed. I just like to kind of have it there sometimes, because what I'll do is I will actually turn this into a little turret pod, but that doesn't really matter, so that's not needed. You can get rid of it. And apologies for that. Coming up above here, we're going to show the windmill placement. I like to sheet metal this right here and just build up. Put a little frame guy here. And sometimes the stability bugs out on this guy. So entirely apologies on this at this point because it's 16% stable, which doesn't make absolute any sense. I believe the issue is placing another foundation down here. Let's find out together at this point because now I'm curious. 25% stable. Yeah, see? Okay, that's the reason I had. So a little bit of a stability bug. What we're actually going to do, apologies for this, we're not actually going to put the windmills here. We're actually going to move the windmills entirely because screw it, we can't have this doing this kind of thing. So building up, let's just go 2 off these guys. You should, I will actually test this for you guys to make sure this is fully working. Off the doors here, you should be able to place 3, but I'm going to toggle off symmetry and break one of these guys and make sure they're not too close. So apologies about this guys, I just don't want you guys to have issues. Okay, these 3 windmill spots are beautiful. They'll work. Apologies about that, guys. Hey, you guys know I'm not lying about my stuff. Hey, I'm testing stuff. You learn something new every day. This looks obviously very good, but the last thing to really go on and through the base is we gotta add deployables and upgrade everything efficiently. So symmetry is obviously off here, but coming to this guy, I should just sheet metaling this bunker like so, and above this, I like to high qual like so. Coming down into one of these bunkers here. I like to make my drop down. I just use garage doors, unless I really have armored doors, but like I almost never do. The most efficient wall that you can upgrade in this entire bunker, as this just being one of the random ones, is this wall right here. If you just high qual this wall, like this, and have a sheet metal wall in here, like such, and have your boxes in here, this is technically just super efficiently upgraded. I mean, obviously it's not perfect from every side, but it's expensive none that matter. So obviously you can just put 4 boxes here, you can put whatever down, whatever you want down here. It's personal preference. You can actually pixel gap bunker this. I'll tell you guys, there's a personal version I have where this is actually pixel gapped here, and then the entire triangle core is a stability bunker. So it's actually like a quad bunker, but maybe for another day. Upgrading this to sheet metal like such. This old guy is perfect. Coming down to here, we'll do the same kind of upgrade paths through this, just to kind of show that we know what we're talking about. This can just be sheet metal. Garage doors only technically matter after this first one. This first one doesn't technically matter. This one's what matters. But for the sake of just kind of being flush and doing the same thing over and over, and rotating these walls at any point is always perfect. And I do like to sheet metal that just for the sake of looking cool. So yeah, this is a split loop base, technically, but when you really get down to it, you're forcing 16 rockets per bunker, and it's very hard to splash effectively into the bunkers where you're getting all the loot. And if you window these off or do any of that kind of stuff, man, it gets so expensive for a base like this. This is like the old virus base on steroids, is the best thing I can think of. It's just beautifully executed to the point of just, it's just beautiful, guys. I love it. And then obviously here, this guy, upgrade. Obviously we did single doors just to make an airlock early game. We have the armor doors, chuck them on here. You know the dealio, you get the point. Throwing your door in here. Coming in here. I like to sheet metal this wall, armor this wall, sheet metal, armor. Should be able to get this at some point. Sheet metal, and then armor that guy. And we make sure I armored above these. And make sure you armor above these. Apologies for that. Almost missed it. Good thing I didn't. Okay. Placing the open core box loot room is super easy. Large boxes, bring them as close as you can, like so. Both sides. Place these guys as far back into their respected sides as possible. If you do it right, all you want really here is one box in the middle, like so. And you can obviously fit a little more in between there if you really want to try. And this top one, I do like just doing it like such. And the reason we're using a lot of small boxes on this guy compared to the normal large box meta is it's very simple, but it's easier to access for such a small little open core. And you can actually, like I said before, you can actually get this one like here. But if I were to put a large box up on top like this, like right here, it'd make this back right box really hard to get. But for now, you can get 5 large boxes in this little bottom section, 2 larges, and that. You should be practically good. If you can't place a garage door, it's because that large box is there. Apologies, I didn't place that beforehand. Cool. If you guys, I forgot I was not in symmetry, but pretend we did these just for sake of it all. This is a great spot right here for your tier 3. Any one of these walls. Research table, or repair bench rather, and obviously research table can kind of go there too, but for now we'll just do a little chuckaroo locker just for fun. Turrets can go underneath here in these sections. We're gonna toggle back on symmetry. I'm gonna be showing you guys some efficient upgrades to do that are end game upgrades. So at this point we're kind of like, I say mid game upgrades. Just try to get this anyways, but if you guys are absolutely stacked on high qual, I suggest upgrading these back walls of the open core. It just makes everything so much more expensive. It's just beautiful. If you can get the right walls of the open core, so these guys, the right walls and the back walls like this is the most efficient upgrade that you can technically do, along with upgrading these to sheet just to make everything more expensive. So that gives you a good idea on how this one looks on the upgrade form. Okay, flying, we're gonna just go, obviously drop boxes up here, garage door yourselves like this. This is all self-explanatory stuff, I hope, at this point, guys. It's just... add your doors. We're good. This can stay a double door. It doesn't actually matter, but this one should be a garage door along with this one. If you have the gears, if you got them, you might as well spam them. There's no difficulty. It's not actually important to upgrade that triangle there. Coming up to this guy right here, I just put a locker here, and I personally like to place a locker there. This auto turret that you're going to want to place, stand in the middle of this square, pull it to where the very tip, if you guys can see that, like the tip of the, what do you call it, like the stand that's on. Pull the stand right to where I have it right there. You can see like right below the bottom of the arrow, right there, and pull as far right as possible. And it's not much by moving it just slightly to the right here, it gives it just a beautiful angle onto here. So just pulling it slightly right is just, it's beautiful, man. You'll thank me later. And then obviously, add your doors. I like double dooring this so you have quick access. And then beds are really easy to place. You kind of just like, you can get 3 really easily in the middle here. If you really want more, you can place them here. I usually just do some bags extra out here just so there's multiple spawn points on this floor. All that kind of stuff. Let me think what else. Damn, guys. These baseballs go quicker and quicker every time I do them, and I apologize if I was going too fast. I really don't try to. Oh, yes, okay. If you guys want to, it's always good to just kind of finish off this little stability-like section. It's beautiful that way. Turrets, you can add your single door here if you want to, but I actually personally leave it off usually, as it kind of just gives the raiders an idea of where you're coming from when you have to open a door. Because this isn't really a weak point that's going to hurt your base by leaving this open. I mean, what are they going to do? Come over to here and soft side this out? I mean, if they do, I applaud them. It's unlikely. There's better things to mess with than a base this large. Yeah. I mean, I'll show you guys some other placements. We got our bedrooms down here. If you guys haven't seen me place these before, you can fit a lot of storage in one of these guys with a locker and a single bed setup. You can obviously fit 2 beds in here. It's a little more difficult, but you can actually fit just a bed and 2 large boxes and a locker. And especially with the new boxes, like this is like, you can put like 10 kits at least in this thing. It's beautiful, man. I love making bedrooms. This is just so simply efficient. It's beautiful, man. And then yeah, large furnaces. If you forgot where I put them, and of course it's not placing now. Your large furnaces should be able to fit. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm not going crazy, guys. We're good. Damn, actually bugging out. Is this different? 1 second. This is gonna pique my interest. There's nothing different. Oh damn. Okay. Let me try replacing this wall. See if there's a difference. Experimenting, guys. Hell, there's nothing else for me. Oh yeah, look at that. Boom, perfectly done. What the heck? Okay. Well, with that being said, I apologize for the little mistakes I have here and there, guys. But if you guys did enjoy the video, drop a like, drop a sub. I love you guys. There's not much more for me to say. Except I hope you guys do enjoy the base. Give me feedback on it. I know it is kind of a spin-off of a base we've already had before, but I feel as if it's something that needed an update into a more current and efficient meta, which I think has been done here. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. I love you all, and I will see you later.